Two Babies in a Business, the podcast where we talk about partnership, business, being a mom, being a dad. I'm usually joined by Mr. Peter Pilarski, but today I am with the lovely, I don't know, maybe I traded up today, the lovely Jasmin Shannon. She is content creator, influencer, mom, coach. You do all the things. We've connected a number of times, but today we're going to talk about that big word partnership and how it applies to our businesses as women-led business owners to, being a mom, being a wife. How are you, Jazz?
Thank you so much for that intro. And I'm so happy to be back on the podcast. And Peter, if you're listening, yeah, maybe she did trade up. I don't know. I'm so happy to be here though, talking with your wife. She's the best.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
I remember, Jazz, a post that you did. God, I think it was probably a year, maybe even 2 years ago, as I feel like time knows no bounds now after COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was about partnership, and you were talking about being really deliberate about the partners you chose as an influencer and in that piece of your life to make sure they matched up with your values and who you are and not wanting to compromise yourself. For me, that spoke volumes to me just on a human level and as one of your influencees, and as just knowing you as someone that we partner with on clients. So to unpack that, I'm sure you remember
Yeah.
that post.
I totally, and it is still very much top of mind. Which there's like, I guess, a little bit of privilege that comes along with it because I was not able to begin that way, obviously. It took a lot of trial and error, even though I thought I knew what my values were when I first started. You get so damn excited when like anyone wants to work with you or you get noticed and you're like, yeah, I'll take on anything, right? Because it feels good. So I would say being at this stage now, being able to pick and choose partnerships based off of values is something I worked up toward and is a privilege because I did all that work and I made so many mistakes um like in partnerships that really didn't align and felt really icky. And now I know what might feel icky and I have the luxury of saying no. Um, and it feels really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like similar to you, right? Like I started out all by my lonesome and you're taking what you can get. You're kind of
Yeah.
eating what you can kill. And I remember even taking contracts where I'd be like, oh, I don't even know if I know how to do this, but we're gonna give it a go and try. And I feel like even this last year, we made some really strategic decisions on clients where I said, very similar to you, like these guys don't really align with our corporate values. Like we're never going to get to this place of trust with this client and be able to really make magic with them if
Hmm.
not aligned on values. And so you look at the budget sheet and the bottom line and you go, no shit, like this is real money. But then you look on the other side and go, how much time am I wasting spinning my wheels or rewriting things or redelivering? And I don't know, it felt like a real big girl moment for me, right? Like
Yeah.
I've arrived. I mean, I don't know if I've arrived quite yet, but like being able to, like you said, make a decision about this partnership, this client is fits who I'm trying to be,
Mhm.
and who I believe I am, I think is a really neat place to be as a business owner.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. And I think also taking, talking about the bottom line is removing, it was a moment for me, I don't know when it was, again, time.
Out the window.
Yeah. Yeah, big moment for me was to really work on scarcity mindset, on that mentality that there is going to be other clients. I don't have to take this one. I'm not going to starve. My family's going to be okay. There's going to be other contracts. But thinking about it differently versus like when I first started, taking what you can get and moving into this place of there's going to be more. There's plenty of companies who do align with my values, and I just have to practice that patience and being very deliberate. And that'll come more easily. But removing scarcity mindset was huge, you
Yeah,
know?
I love that. I feel like that's like I can be too bottom line. I feel like I've come a long way. Um, but like for me, it's like really focusing on the humans, right? Like I come back and I go, all right, what client or clients, hopefully not clients, but what client am I always hearing about? Or is this sticky point or this stress? Or who am I not excited to pick up the phone and talk to?
Yes.
Or, right, who isn't
The
giving me
worst
that
feeling.
energy?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true, right? Like getting off that series of Zoom calls or those in-person meetings and just feeling drained. And you're like, wait a second, like I chose this career for myself. Shouldn't I be excited about what I'm doing?
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. And sometimes still there are those clients that you take on that you don't realize at first, but are more energy taking than they are giving. And like you get to a place where you're like, I'm so excited for this contract. But then that's just another piece of the learning, and
Yeah.
then, um, but, being in tune with who's going to make you feel that way, is, yeah, I'm still learning.
It's true because I feel like sometimes it surprises you too, right? Like
Yeah.
you have this click at the beginning. But for me too, it's been okay, how do I start to understand when to actually pull back when I'm feeling away?
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
haven't mastered that.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel you.
True. Okay, so you said that you are starting to be able to identify that like ick.
Hmm.
How are you doing like whether it's conscious or subconscious, how are you starting to kind of profile that as you're meeting new people or undertaking new partnership?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's intuitive, like
Yeah.
now that we're networking more and we're like meeting people in person and we're talking about partnerships, there's sometimes like that intuition being like, this is amazing. And sometimes it's like, it's a good company, but I know that we're not aligned.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna maybe turn in a friendship or like this, I'll give you an example. It was a fitness
Yeah.
studio that I love going to. And the owners said, hey, could you come do some work for us? And I said, no, because I know their personality and I know what
Right.
um it would take the joy away from my working out there because I love it and it's my time. And then to turn that into work was one thing. And I was like, I don't know. But I knew the personality of the owner and they're
Yeah.
lovely. Um, but I also knew that that we would not fit
Yeah.
work wise, So sometimes it's that intuition, and then sometimes it's just like what business it is. Like,
Yeah.
I know my audience so well, and it's like, I'm not going to be selling like weight loss supplements or like or mushrooms. Like psychedelics is becoming huge, for example. And
Yeah.
like it's not something I'm familiar with and also not something I don't think my audience is interested in. So I'm not going to take them on as a client, So sometimes it's the market, sometimes it's intuition.
Yeah.
But yeah, really knowing your audience and knowing your own values.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
I've started in once so Peter's our sales guy, but then they come on to me from that, work perspective. And I've tried to get really good at asking questions that speak my language, right? So like goal oriented or in the investment rather than the expense of
Yeah.
marketing or and trying to like suss out from there, like asking these key questions. And I feel like you can tell a lot by how they answer or respond when it's like, okay, yeah, we're on the same page here. I recently stuck a whole slide into my onboarding deck about the importance of building trust. And I feel
Yeah.
like you can tell as soon as someone is like-minded and they're like, I get like, absolutely, let's build trust, let's spend time, let's get to know how one another operates, let's see your values, my values. And then when you get that, oh, try like, what are you trying? You're my marketing agency. We'll just do what I tell you. Go, right? You can see that kind of
Yeah.
transition in, are we speaking the same language? Which has been really
Mhm.
interesting to, I feel like, assess early in a relationship.
Yeah, it's got to be a vibe. And if it's not a vibe, then it's just going to be sticky all the way through, and you're going to be wondering when the contract's over. And that's no way to live life.
No, it's not. It's terrible. Yeah, I really like that notion of vibe because I think about you and I, like we consider you a partner. You're always our first choice if there's, that we feel like we know your audience now too. And so, you're first on the list, but it's because there's the vibe there. Like what we're trying to create and what we're trying to capture, and it just works. Whereas we've partnered with other influencers before. They're
Yeah,
great too,
yeah.
but it just wasn't the person I'd go and have a glass of wine with, which I
Yes.
think is
Should be like
important.
really nice right now. I feel like I would love to join you for a glass of wine through the screen. That would be great.
Gosh, right?
Hey.
I think that like attracts like. Like I totally believe that.
Mhm.
Um, and then I think it takes that again, that maturity and business move to start removing the people from your life that aren't that, whether it's
Yeah.
clients or whether it's, relationships like ours, where it's like a subcontractor relationship through relationship piece,
Yeah.
which sometimes feels sticky. But yeah, I feel like there's this maturity in partnership that comes through. And maybe it's a confidence thing. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I think so. I don't know. I would, looking back over, has it been 7 years? I want to say 6 years that I've been doing this. Like my level of confidence has it's I'm a completely different person than when I first started, you know? Um, yeah, and as a business owner, like the more you show yourself what you're capable of, the more confidence you're going to build, and momentum just goes from there. Yeah.
True. I agree. Okay, partnership in terms of life, kids. What's your, it's like a loaded question for you, but like, what's your approach? I mean, you share a lot, obviously, of your life online, which I love because I do too, but people don't love me as much as they love you.
I-
But like,
So,
what's your approach to that?
like partnerships with my husband,
Yeah.
and well, we have had the same working arrangement for going on like 3 or 4 years now,
Yeah.
and it's worked ish. So here's what we do. We split our work weeks into, he gets Monday, Wednesday, I get Tuesday, Thursday, and then we share
Okay.
Friday based on capacity. Now, keeping in mind, um, during, let's say, a Monday, we drop two of our kids off at school. We
Yeah.
have one with us at all times. And then we pick one of them up half day and then one of them up in the afternoon, and then have activities after school. So it's not a seamless approach, but that's just the season that we're in right now, with an almost 2 year old, an almost 5 year old, and a 6.5 year old. Like it's just chaos, and it comes, yeah, comes with age and whatever. So I feel like this is the last year that we're going to be doing it this way, because in September 2023, all three of them are going to be going into full time.
Nice.
So it'll be from 8:30 to 3:30. Mark and I can work full days, and it'll be wonderful. But yeah, it's chaotic. But that's how we split our our work week. And I'm not going to say it's 100%, but I, I don't know of any other alternatives.
I have been there. I have lived that. It can it I mean, I love your analogy of like it's a season and we're dealing with it because I feel like
Mm.
whether it's like the season of your marriage or being a mom or being a business owner, it's like if you look at it as okay, this is this kind of season and we're going to get through it,
Yeah,
and on the other side it looks like this. I think that one, positive mindset, but two, this reminder that like the partnership contract changes. Right
yeah,
now it looks like this, and there's probably a renegotiation at some point because it's different now.
totally. Yeah. And to add another layer on top of it is my husband's work is not as flexible as mine. So he's a photographer, and a lot of his clients are like, well, we have, this, he does like a lot of commercial photography, and they're like, well, we have this happening on this day and this installation going in on this day. And so he doesn't have the flexibility that I do. And so,
Yeah,
we run into those cases where it's like, I got to take your Tuesday again, or I got to take your Thursday. And
yeah,
there's a lot of back and forth, but we make it work.
yeah. And I mean that's what I love. We were talking about before we started recording. You went on this amazing retreat, the week of you. And it's like to me with Peter, like that's the I guess negotiation or partnership that I like. It's like he knows like mornings that like I like an early morning workout. He knows that's the me time and that's what I need to like come back to our partnership as 100%. So like the fact that, you know, your husband gets that too, gives you that time, I think is
Yes,
important.
absolutely. Yeah. And it's I feel like yeah, this is the first year that I had done it. And it was it was more out of necessity than anything else.
Yeah.
I'd never, even before kids, I just never thought it was necessary to go on a trip or like on a retreat by myself and spend alone time. But now I was just going insane. And I was like, I don't know what to do. But I just needed alone time and some
Yeah.
like, introspection. And it was just what the doctor ordered.
So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, even tying it back to business, it's like those clients who you know, get that you also take days off or that you have a Christmas break too, or right,
Yeah.
like
Or go
those to
on
me,
maternity leave, right? That was hard.
no, I get like that's funny. It's like I remember being 5 months pregnant, pitching a new client and them looking at me horrified. But I'm like, hey, like I'm not gonna take on 25 new clients right now, but like you're a great fit for this season of my life. And I don't have the luxury of walking into like boss man's office and going, "Hey, I need a maternity leave now." Right? Like you do what you got to do.
Yeah. I
Nice.
remember putting my auto response on saying I was going on maternity leave when I was in labor with Emma this last time. I was literally like over my counter breathing. And on my phone, I was like, I answered a quick email. I forget what it was for, but I was like, I don't think I can answer any more emails. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get through this contraction. And then I was like, hey, here's my auto response. And then I turned off my notifications so it wouldn't ding during labor. And
I no,
I was
I
like, what
love
are you
we are the
doing?
same. Because I remember like right before they wheeled me like up to labor and delivery, I was like, "Okay, I got one more email." And like the email literally said, "I haven't heard back from you on approval, so you're not going to hear from me for a bit." And it was just like that, like, "Hey, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's on them. It's on
Yeah.
them."
I know. As long as the ball is in their court, at that time.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It's true.
Mhm.
Well, thank you for chatting with me.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for being a great partner to us. I feel like you, again, same vibes, but I love when we throw stuff at you. You're like, okay, I can do something here.
Absolutely. And I mean, more of our stuff is more and more geared toward experiences, and
Yeah.
what you guys throw at us is like all about the experiences. And we love that so much. And why like the biggest reason why we love you is because I think the trust is there, and
Yeah.
that creativity is able to come out when that partnership has been built on trust.
Yeah.
And you're like, these are my objectives, run with it. And Mark and I are like, yeah, like this is amazing.
Nice.
We love
Oh,
working with you guys. Yeah.
oh, so good. Well, hopefully, I feel like knock on wood or manifest it, but I feel like 2023 will have some cool opportunities. We
Oh,
got some
I'm so
stuff cooking up on our side, so you know
yeah.
you're my first call.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
Nice. All right, well, thank you everyone for tuning in. You can find Jasmin on, I feel like, all the social. Jasmin, your lemons for days. We'll throw your links up, but follow her. She's incredible. I'm always inspired by what you're doing. You always give me zany ideas. I feel like the last recipe I followed of yours was like um, you did like a cucumber salad with some
Yeah.
sesame seeds
It was a
and
cucumber ribbon salad, which was like
yes.
so inefficient to eat, but it looked so pretty.
I feel like that's pretty much why I did it.
I know.
Amazing. Okay, well, we'll have to do that glass of wine soon.
Anytime.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you for joining in for another episode of Two Babies in a Business. CIPR Communications is a public relations and digital marketing firm partnering with clients across North America to reach their brand reputation and lead generation goals. Follow us on social at CIPR Comms and check out our website ciprcommunications.com for more information. If you have questions or want to be part of a future podcast, reach out at media@ciprcommunications.com. I'm James Falls, CIPR's PR specialist, and I'm looking forward to our next episode. Subscribe on your Spotify or iTunes account so you don't miss the next one.